Read aloud for Weather and Water Cycle Take-Home Test. Due January 14th, 2026. 10% deduction for each day late. How air mass interactions affect local weather. Understanding how different air masses interact helps us predict changes in local weather. Air masses are large bodies of air that have similar temperatures, pressures, and humidity levels. When two air masses meet, they form a boundary called a front. The interactions of these fronts can lead to changes in temperature, the formation of clouds, rain, or even storms. Meteorologists collect weather data such as temperature, air pressure, wind direction, and humidity to recognize patterns. By studying this data, they can predict what the weather will likely be in the near future. Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank with the correct words. 1. When two air masses meet, they form a blank. 2. Weather forecasters use blank to help predict future weather patterns. 3. An air mass with high humidity will likely bring blank conditions. 4. A sudden drop in air pressure often means that blank is approaching. 5. When warm air rises over cold air at a front, it can lead to blank formation. Word bank. Front, rain, cloud, stormy, data. Open-ended questions. Answer the following questions in complete sentences. Make sure to write detailed responses that utilize academic vocabulary. Explain how collecting weather data like temperature and humidity can help predict if it might rain soon. Describe what happens when a warm air mass meets a cold air mass. Use the word front in your answer. Why is it important for meteorologists to use data from many different sources like weather maps and local observations? Water is always moving on, above, and below the surface of Earth. This movement is called the water cycle. The sun's energy causes water to evaporate from oceans, lakes, and even plants, a process called transpiration. As water vapor rises, it cools and condenses to form clouds. When the clouds get heavy, gravity pulls the water down as precipitation, rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Some of this water soaks into the ground, infiltration. Some runs off into rivers and streams, runoff. And some is used by living things. The water cycle connects the atmosphere, air, hydrosphere, water, geosphere, land, and biosphere, living things. Energy from the sun and gravity are the main forces that drive these changes, making sure water is always cycling through Earth's systems. Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank with the correct words. 1. The process where liquid water turns into water vapor because of the sun's energy is called blank. The force that pulls water downward during precipitation is blank. Water vapor cools and changes back into liquid water in a process called blank. When water soaks into the ground, it is called blank. Plants release water vapor into the air through a process known as blank. Word bank. Gravity, condensation, evaporation, transpiration, infiltration. Open-ended question. Hold on. Answer the following questions in complete sentences. Make sure to write detailed responses that utilize academic vocabulary. Describe how water moves through the water cycle. Explain at least 3 stages, such as evaporation, condensation, precipitation, or collection, and how energy from the sun helps drive the cycle. Why is the water cycle important for living things on Earth? Explain how plants, animals, or humans depend on different parts of the water cycle to survive. Explain the role of the sun in the water cycle. Why is the sun important, and what changes might happen if there were less sunlight? Label each of the air masses as of North America above, and then list the characteristics for each air mass in the table below. First column, name, CP, MP, CT, MT. Second column, source region, continental polar region, maritime polar region, continental tropical region, maritime tropical region. Third column, characteristics. Label each of the weather fronts below. First column, moves quickly, brings cooler weather. Second column, brings warmer weather, brings drizzly rain followed by clear weather. Column 3, does not have enough force to move, brings many days of cloudy wet weather. Column 4, brings cool temperatures and large amounts of rain and snow. Read the definitions below, then label the water cycle diagram. The water cycle, the hydrologic cycle. Accumulation, the process in which water pools in large bodies, like oceans, seas, and lakes. Condensation, the process in which water vapor, a gas, in the air turns into liquid water. Condensing water forms clouds in the sky. Water droplets that form on the outside of a glass of icy water are condensed water. This term appears twice in the diagram. Evaporation, the process in which liquid water becomes water vapor, a gas. Water vaporizes from the surface of oceans and lakes, from the surface of the land, and from melts in snowfields. Precipitation, the process in which water, in the form of rain, snow, sleet, or hail, falls from the clouds in the sky. Subsurface runoff, rain, snowmelt, or other water that flows in underground streams, drains, or sewers. Surface runoff, rain, snowmelt, or other water that flows in surface streams, rivers, or canals. Transpiration, the process in which some water within plants evaporates into the atmosphere. Water is first absorbed by the plant's roots, then later exits by evaporating through pores in the plant. Circle the letter for the correct answer. Which pattern of air movement shows a convection current? A. Cool air rises, warm air comes down, ground. B. Warm air rises, cool air comes down, ground. C. Warm air rises, warm air comes down, ground. D. Cool air rises, cool air comes down, ground. How are air temperature, density, and the movement of air related? A. Cold air is more dense than warm air, so it rises to create a conduction cell. B. Cold air is less dense than warm air, so it sinks to create a convection cell. C. Warm air is less dense than cold air, so it rises to create a convection cell. D. Warm air is more dense than cold air, so it sinks to create a conduction cell. Wind moves due to differences in air pressure. What is mainly responsible for creating differences in air pressure? A. There is unequal heating of Earth's surface by the sun. B. There is more air over the oceans than over the land. C. Wind blows from the east to the west. D. Moisture in the atmosphere evaporates. A student makes a model of the water cycle as shown. Water vapor, downhill flow and precipitation, evaporation, lakes and streams, transpiration only. A classmate tells the student that the model is inaccurate. Which model represents an accurate model of the water cycle? A. Evaporation, transpiration, lakes and streams, precipitation and groundwater flow, water vapor. B. Evaporation, groundwater flow, lakes and streams, transpiration and precipitation, water vapor. C. Transpiration, groundwater flow, lakes and streams, evaporation and precipitation, water vapor. D. Precipitation, groundwater flow, lakes and streams, evaporation and transpiration, water vapor. What would happen if the sun is removed from the water cycle? A. The water cycle would not include precipitation but would continue with groundwater flow. B. The water cycle would no longer occur because the sun provides the energy for evaporation and transpiration. C. The water cycle would no longer occur because the sun provides the energy for the formation of clouds. D. The water cycle would not include evaporation and transpiration, but would continue with condensation. The table lists information about two towns, A and B, located on a mountain. First column, town A, B. Second column, latitude, degrees north, 33, 33. Elevation in meters, 3,500, 1,200. Location on the mountain, near the peak of the mountain, near the base of the mountain. Which statement correctly determines the climate of the towns? A. Town A will be cooler than Town B because it is located near the peak of the mountain. B. Town A will be the same temperature as Town B because they are located on the same latitudes. C. Town A will be warmer than Town B because the sun's rays directly strike the peak of the mountain and the base of the mountain is covered by clouds. D. Town A will be warmer than Town B because warm air rises up to the peak of the mountain and cold air sinks to the base of the mountain. The map of the United States shows two fronts approaching Denver and Miami. The map shows Denver and Miami. Key: cold front, warm front. What will likely happen to the air temperature in Denver and Miami after the fronts pass? A. Denver, air temperature will increase. Miami, air temperature will decrease. B. Denver, air temperature will decrease. Miami, air temperature will increase. C. Denver, air temperature will increase. Miami, air temperature will increase. D. Denver, air temperature will decrease. Miami, air temperature will decrease. The map shows high and low pressure patterns on a given day in the United States. Map: Seattle, San Jose, Los Angeles, Denver, El Paso, Chicago, Memphis, Houston, New York, Jacksonville. How would the weather be described in Seattle, Washington on this day? A. Cloudy with no precipitation. B. Cloudy with rain. C. Sunny with rain. D. Sunny with no precipitation. The line graph shows changes in barometric pressure for the town of Clinton for a 10-day period during August 2013. Graph. Title: Barometric pressure for a 10-day period in Clinton. Y-axle: barometric pressure. 730, 735, 740, 745, 750, 755, 760, 765. X-axis: Date, 2013. 5th of August, 6th of August, 7th of August, 8th of August, 9th of August, 10th of August, 11th of August, 12th of August, 13th of August, 14th of August. Based on the data in the line graph, on which date did the citizens of Clinton experience rain? A. August 5, B. August 7, C. August 10, D. August 14. A meteorologist predicts that a strong low-pressure system is moving toward a city within the next 24 hours. What weather will the city most likely experience? A. Clear skies. B. No wind. C. Partly cloudy. D. Steady rain. The model shows the weather conditions produced by high and low pressure systems. Image 1. Falling air, diverging wind, high pressure. Image 2. Rising air, low pressure, converging wind. The chart lists several statements about the weather conditions shown in the models. 1. Low pressure systems result in cloudy skies. 2. High pressure systems result in clear skies. 3. Winds circulate in a clockwise direction under both high and low pressure systems. 4. Storms are common in low pressure systems. Based on the models, which statements are correct? Select all that apply. A. 1, B. 2, C. 3, D. 4. There are several stages in the water cycle. What happens to the water during transpiration? A. Water sinks into the ground. B. Water from the ocean is converted into vapor by the sun. C. Water vapor in the atmosphere is converted into water droplets. D. Water from plants enters into the environment in the form of vapor. What force pulls the molecules in the air down towards the ground? A. Inertia. B. Wind. C. Gravity. D. Air pressure. Choose all the terms that describe a part of the water cycle. A. Fixation. B. Condensation. C. Evaporation. D. Precipitation. E. Respiration. Based on the table, in which city did it most likely snow? Weather in 4 Ohio cities. Column 1. High temperature, degrees Fahrenheit. Low temperature, degrees Fahrenheit. Precipitation, inches. Columbus, 48-29-1. Marietta, 52-43-1. Gallipolis, 55-48-2. Toledo, 25-10-0. A. Columbus. B. Marietta. C. Gallipolis. D. Toledo. The diagram shows how a cold air mass collides with and slides under a warm air mass. Image: cold air, warm air. Which weather condition will most likely result from this movement? A. Warmer temperatures and precipitation. B. Warmer temperatures and clear skies. C. Cooler temperatures and precipitation. D. Cooler temperatures and clear skies. Which image represents the air mass movement associated with a stationary front? A. Warmer air, cold air. B. Cold air, warm air. C. Cold air, warm air. D. Colder air, cold air. Examine the map that shows the locations of high and low pressure systems and a frontal boundary across North America during summer. Which weather condition would be expected in the low pressure areas? A. Clear and sunny. B. Cloudy and cold. C. Cloudy with precipitation. D. Cold with precipitation. Which scientific tool would a meteorologist be least likely? Let me read that again. Which scientific tool would a meteorologist be least likely to use? A. Anemometer. B. Wind vane. C. Telescope. D. Thermometer.